We found him beyond the Kuiper Belt, drifting in the cold void between stars, tethered in nothing, yet space itself bent around him like reverence. His body was impossible, a continent-sized mass of glistening black flesh, riddled with eyes that blinked asynchronously, some the size of city blocks, others microscopic and twitching like nerves on exposed muscle. No ship's instruments could agree on his dimensions. Some read him as a few kilometers wide. Others measured him in astronomical units. He existed wrongly, like an error in the code of reality, and yet undeniably there. We called him the anomaly at first. That was before the screaming started. The first recon probe we sent returned no data. Only a single burst transmission, 7 seconds of static, and buried in that static, unmistakably, the voice of someone's mother. She'd been dead for decades. Command assumed the data corruption, perhaps an echo from Earth archives. They sent another probe, then a crewed vessel, then a battalion. None returned. Until Eidolon. We were the Black Project Fleet, the last line behind the last line. Men and women stripped of names and rewritten into code numbers, surgically augmented to breathe chemicals the rest of humanity couldn't pronounce. We were built to kill stars if needed. When Earth sent us, it wasn't to investigate. It was to annihilate. I was Commander Eris 7, leading Eidolon. I remember the moment we breached the event perimeter. The stars behind us blinked out, like someone closing their eyes to what we were about to do. Inside, space warped. Distances looped. The laws of physics hissed, static, into our minds. And yet we kept going, because humans are nothing if not stubborn. We burned ourselves on every boundary the universe gave us, and made a religion of the ashes. Then we saw him, not just his shape, but his face, a lattice of mouths whispering in languages we didn't know we knew. Each word was a memory that wasn't ours, each syllable unraveling some truth that felt older than atoms. A junior lieutenant fell to his knees in his suit, sobbing blood. His last words were, "I remember being born outside time. We lost 12 in the first hour, not to combat, but to knowledge." He was thinking at us, infecting our minds like scripture, a psychic scream that didn't come all at once, but in slow, unfolding verses. It wasn't a message. It was a prayer, a desperate one, because he was dying. That was the twist that shattered us. God was not omnipotent. He was old, failing. A being that had once created universes now adrift like space debris, half-decayed, begging. For what? We didn't know. The scientists tried to study him. Their instruments liquefied. The priests among us tried to worship. They turned on themselves with ritualistic glee, tearing their eyes out to match his holy blindness. Only the soldiers held. Because we didn't try to understand. We tried to win. Every war humanity's fought prepared us for this. The only species arrogant enough to look divinity in the face and say, "We'll decide if you deserve to live." We deployed singularity bombs, neutron nets, entropy warheads. We hit him with every weapon that could end civilizations. He didn't fight back. He didn't need to. Our minds turned against us. Dreams became infected. Memories we never lived began to overwrite the ones we had. One crewman remembered 1,000 deaths that weren't his. Another wrote symbols in her blood that we later discovered were architectural plans for a temple that predated Earth. And still we fought. Because that's what we do. That's what we are. In the final stage, we found the core of his body, a cathedral of bone and starlight, floating in what resembled a beating heart made of dark matter, and something that screamed when exposed to light. Inside that chamber, suspended by tendrils of thought and memory, we found the last piece of him, a brain the size of a moon, cracked with age, leaking ideas like radiation. We had one weapon left, a prototype called the Unmaker, an ontological disruptor. It didn't destroy matter. It destroyed the meaning of it. It erased not the object, but the concept of the object. We fired it. It worked. The god thing shuddered, spasmed, and then wept. Not with eyes, but through us. Every surviving crew member felt it. A grief so infinite, so pure that it carved a hole through who we were. One of us screamed for 6 minutes straight. Another went silent and hasn't spoken since. I, Commander Eris, 7, watched the god die. And worse, I watched him thank us for it, with his last coherence. He showed us what he had become, not a creator, but a prisoner, trapped in an eternal mind, forced to watch everything he had ever made suffer, fracture, and die. We weren't his children. We were his jailers. And in death he was free. The moment he perished, the stars flickered, time lurched. Something behind the fabric of everything sighed, and we were alone again, totally, cosmically alone. When we returned to Earth, the sky was empty. Telescopes found nothing. Not galaxies, not quasars, nothing. Space was still there, but it had gone quiet, like a stage after the curtain falls. We hadn't just killed God, we had deleted the story. Scientists are calling it a cosmic data collapse, a misalignment in the quantum substrate of the observable universe. But I know what it really is. We pulled the trigger on the only thing that ever loved us, and reality itself is holding its breath in grief. Maybe we did the right thing. Maybe mercy was a final act of rebellion in a broken creation. Or maybe we just proved that humanity is the only true apex predator. All I know is this: we found God in deep space. He begged us for death, and we obliged. The stars haven't come back, and I don't think they ever will.